It was pretty good.
Yes,
So.
yes. Can you restart it again? Wow.
Oh god.
Okay.
Did we break it again?
Yeah, no, it's working.
Okay.
Hey guys, and welcome to the cool hour with the cool guys. Featuring BY666. We're bringing you non-stop soul to take you into the midnight hour. And we're playing... This is Super Castlevania 4, and let me tell you, this game is...
Buttlord.
We are the Buttlord. This is the story of Buttlord, the great guy who killed Dracula one day. And here's the story about it.
Dude, daily reminder, Castlevania 3's main character is named Trevor, which is what my dad actually named me after.
It's true. It's true. That game came out in, I think, 1980... No, that came out in...
Oh wait, wasn't it 90?
That was 90. So that was 2 years before Trevor was born, and Dad was like, you know what? Why that Castlevania? that's a quality game. I wasn't named after any cool characters. Actually, I was named after Bionic Commando, but because that guy's name is Spenser. But my dad didn't know how to spell. He was still learning how to spell. But then 4 years later, he knew.
I'm named after American Pie characters, so...
Yeah? Brian, who are you named after?
I'm named after myself because I'm not a pleb.
What does that even mean?
I heard it's a hipster term.
Brian somehow named after himself. Oh, we have special guest here tonight in the midnight hour. Michael J. Finch.
Complete box featuring theme stuff.
And I'm fired, thanks.
We tried to keep it a secret, guys, but it's not a secret any longer. Michael J. Finch. I don't know if your middle name's Finch, but it would really work if it was J.
It is, actually.
My God.
That's weird. Is it Jeffrey?
No.
Jason?
No.
Okay,
Let's just keep guessing.
What are other J's?
John.
Or is it just J, like J-A-Y?
No, that'd be kind of cool, though.
Homer J. Simpson. Yeah, he works at GameStop. And it's funny because people at GameStop like complete advice. So you should too, but if you're watching it, you probably like us.
Oh, you gotta get the 2 times. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
So Spencer, talk about this game.
Yeah.
Castlevania 4 is my favorite Castlevania game. And the main reason for that is, first of all, the level design is fantastic. The music, as you'll hear throughout the time, is just top tier. And the main reason would be the whipping. I don't know if you can see. There you go. You can whip in all 8 directions, and it's just so fluid. It's so overpowered.
It's OP. It breaks the game.
It's just so fun. And I've always loved Castlevania, and I always thought Castlevania 4 was the fairest.
Yeah, it's still hard, but it's not like Castlevania 3 tier.
Yeah. I consider Castlevania 1 and 3 to be almost to the point where they're too difficult. Now, granted, Castlevania 1 has literally 6 levels, so you don't want to blow through it in like 30 minutes, I get that. But Castlevania 1 and 3 are both very difficult, and Castlevania 4 is difficult enough. Whereas, I've been playing this my entire life, pretty much. So, if it looks, I don't want to say it looks too easy because that sounds too ridiculous, but if I make it look a little bit easier because I know everything that's coming up, that's not necessarily an indication of it being an easy game. It's still pretty difficult, but yeah, it's not unfair.
Was it the original Castlevania had 14 stages, if I remember correctly?
Well, the way they cut it up.
That's true. They did do that.
So it's like 6 big stages. Like right now, if you see in the upper right, I'm on 1-3, and at this point, it would be stage quote unquote 13. Wow, I suck.
All I know is Death is on stage 13, and the original.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This first boss is yes, very easy. And the game gets much harder as it goes on. Now watch this, guys. This is important. I'm gonna do something different every time. Look at that! He's in the middle of it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a different one every time, guys. You're gonna be so happy. But I actually get in a lot of arguments that I pretty much bring them on. But everyone's always like, "Hey, you know what Castlevania game's the best? That would happen to be Symphony of the Night. Everyone says that. And I'm more of a fan of the old school ones. I completely understand. Like, Symphony of the Night is a great game. It's really, really good, and it's really well made, and it's a hell of a lot longer than this, and I totally get that. But there's something about the old school style that I like.
Yeah, I guess I'm in the majority that I like the Metroidvania games better. But I think Symphony of the Night is good, but I think my favorite Castlevania is actually Dawn of Sorrow.
Mine, along those lines, has to be Portrait of Ruin.
Yeah, Portrait of Ruin is also really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Portrait of Ruin is really good. I did play that one.
My favorite Castlevania game is the ones I never played.
Never
played a Castlevania.
What I mean, this is one of your first times seeing it. What do you think of Super Castlevania 4? And if you say it's super, that's the correct answer.
It's neat. It's got cool things going on, and the whip is cool, and everything is cool.
Thank you.
Armadillo.
My input to this, that's what.
A little bit going into what I want to do with this run. I kind of want it to be a speed run. I guess I can't really fully say it's going to be a pure speed run because I think pure speed runs, I'm not talented enough to be able to talk and also speed run. So it'll pretty much be just kind of a let's play kind of speed run. I'm just hoping to get the world record is 35 minutes. I'm really hoping to get somewhere around an hour would be pretty fantastic. What the heck? Did you guys see that?
Basically a no-death run.
Basically, I'm trying to do a no-death run. Now, I've done it before where I've gotten to the final level without dying. It doesn't... it doesn't...
Oh, God.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen all the time, and if I die a couple times, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah. If it was the old Castlevania games, he would have died right there. Because you're locked into your jump in the first 3 Castlevania games.
It's very, very, very difficult to explain without you actually playing them, but Trevor is correct. Once you choose to jump a direction, you're locked in there. You will be jumping in that direction, whereas this one I can go, and change.
It's like a specific arc.
Which is another reason why I honestly like this, because it's more forgiving, and honestly fair is a good word for it.
And Medusa tits. I mean, that's...
Yes, she is actually kind of naked.
Whoa. Children's game. What's up?
Well, is this rated teen? Actually, that is a really good point.
I don't think it says on the cartridge.
No, they don't.
This game came out, for having...
Talk about Castlevania on Genesis and how it's rated 7 and up or something like that.
Yeah.
Rondo of Blood?
No, I'll get into it. This is actually very interesting. What I'll say first is this game came out in '91. This is really, really early on in the Super Nintendo's life, which is fantastically surprising considering the graphics, in my opinion, are just great. Just everything's just so, I don't know, it's just really well made. And so this game actually, believe it or not, because it looks way better than it, came out a lot before Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1, I believe, was '93. And that's the whole game that started everyone into the whole ESRB thing, don't let our kids play violent games, stuff like that. So this was out, I believe, before you were forced into certain, ratings. And it's interesting to think about what a game like this would get nowadays. It would most likely be teen. I don't see any reason for it to be mature, but they're very, very, very hardcore as well.
And current games, it would have blood and stuff, probably.
Yeah. Look at Lords of Shadow. Lords of Shadow is mature, and
Stage 3.
There's a good reason for it.
So this game is pretty... Yes, it deals with whipping and zombies and vampires and all that kind of stuff, but it's, by today's standards, pretty tame. There is a version of Castlevania called Bloodlines.
Oh.
That probably gives you an idea, just based off the title on Sega Genesis. That is ridiculously bloody. I mean, it is like... It's
the goriest game on the system.
It is easily the goriest. And Genesis was well known, compared to the Super Nintendo, for being a system that didn't care about violence. Whereas Mortal Kombat 1, there was no blood. Mortal Kombat for Super Nintendo, Mortal Kombat 1 for Genesis had all the blood that the arcade one has, if that gives you any idea. So it's a really bloody game. The first boss you beat is a werewolf, and it literally, when you beat it, becomes a bloody husk of itself. Like, literally a writhing, sopping bloody husk. And there's no other way to explain it besides that. It's really that bad. And the interesting thing about it is, if you, and feel free to Google this or look at your copy or whatever, it is rated kids to adults, which is...
Actually, I don't think Genesis games use the SRB. I think it was like GA for general audience.
It might have been GA for general audience. Whichever version it is, essentially think of it as an E for everybody in today's standards, because they used to use different ESRB ratings, but think of it as an E for everybody on a game that literally, like, honestly, it's...
Did this game come out after Bloodlines?
This game came out before Bloodlines. Bloodlines is a pretty late Castlevania game. If I remember correctly, it is 93, 94-ish. And I'm sure somebody out there who has a little bit of time will look up all these times and be like...
5 seconds
hold on,
on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, actually, would you mind?
I've got it.
Because it's interesting. But I do believe that was 93, and I believe Castlevania 4 was either late 90 or early 91. It was a very early game on the Super Nintendo. Not quite a launch title, but certainly it showed. I mean, could you imagine? I was a little bit too young. I wasn't around when the NES first was introduced. But could you imagine playing like Castlevania 1 on the NES, and then like your dad coming home with the Super Nintendo Super Castlevania 4 in 1991? And granted, people were still playing Nintendo games like nonstop. I mean, the Nintendo had games coming out until 95, 96.
Mega Man.
Could you imagine, like, just looking at this and being like, what? Like, even comparing PS2 to PS3 is nothing like comparing, like, Castlevania 1 to this, in my opinion.
Well, actually, it's interesting you brought that up, because I was playing Castlevania, like the original one, and then I got a Super Nintendo when I was, I don't know, like 5 or 6, and this was one of the first games I got. So I would play Castlevania 1 or Castlevania, I had all 3 of them. Get frustrated with those, come to these, and I could play it, because the jumps are...
right?
Ego Raptor said it best, you don't have to buy an engagement ring for your jumps in this one.
I always get in that argument with whoever when it comes to Castlevania 4, because I'm so animate about loving the game.
Yeah.
Ego Raptor, it's a pretty famous video called Sequelitis, where essentially his main point, and no one's ever refuted that his point was this, is that Castlevania 4 is less good than the old school Castlevanias because it controls too well. Which is essentially his point, where you can whip in all 8 directions.
He was basically saying that this game was it took too much from tradition of the older games, so it like designed itself as a Castlevania game,
God.
but the controls and stuff were a little bit too good for the design. Like they added stuff like those whip rings, but like besides that, it's just like a different kind of platform. I think he's half right and half wrong. Like I still think this is a hard game, and like things are built for the mechanics. They could have done other stuff, like more stuff with the whip, but I think he was like 75% wrong on that.
I've got the timeline here for you. We got 1986, the original Castlevania.
And then 88 was Simon's Quest.
87.
87. Ooh.
Yep, 87 was...
Are you looking at the NTSC releases or the Japanese releases?
I'm going to go with Japanese from what I'm guessing.
Okay. If there's any way to look at the NTSC, that's what I'm familiar with. This boss is pretty difficult, actually.
Oh, the Hydra fight?
Yeah,
this fight sucks.
This is not the easiest of bosses. I mean, it only because you can fall off.
Yeah, the knockback is... He has a decent amount of knockback, too, but...
If anyone notices while I'm playing this, the ridiculous amount of slow... No!
Oh!
Ripped ears.
Sorry, guys.
I'm sure that all that sounded like was...
Yeah, it just sounded like nothing.
I can't notice the slowdown at all, or anything.
Yeah, what I was going to say before I screamed really loud is, in case anybody noticed the ridiculous amount of slowdown, Super Nintendo is pretty famous, especially the early games, like Castlevania 4 and Gradius 3, for slowdown. I mean, not a lot has to be on the screen at the same time for it to start to slow down.
Mega Man X, when you fight the giant hornets, first stage, lag.
So laggy.
And it's laggy when you do the armored armadillo, like log.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how they have set up. I was just actually telling Finch, Mr. GameStop himself. No, I was just telling him. By the way, this is he for the night donated his copy of Castlevania 4 because I don't know what I did with mine, and I usually just play copies at the store. Anyway, so thank you for that.
Yeah, we did a horror thing, and we did horror games on display, and then all those games went missing for some reason.
I don't know what happened. I checked every box I ever had.
And we had a million games.
It's funny because horror games are my favorite games. So like one day, I don't know. I didn't sell them. I don't know what happened.
They have to be in your house somewhere.
Yeah, they have to be somewhere. Anyway, and they're my favorite genre. I honestly forget what point I was going to make. Something about Finch being cool.
so some form of GameStop reference, and
that one actually wasn't it. Okay, that gave me so much trouble last time, and I felt like a little bit.
Donated.
Yeah, but there was something before that. I don't know.
Train of thought.
That's a very difficult jump if you don't know that a skeleton's coming right away. It really is, because it can knock you off. A lot of the things in this game aren't necessarily because... no, that's actually perfect. Thanks, bro. A lot of the hardness in this game, just like the original game, isn't because you're in any danger... any danger of losing all of your life. It's mostly because you're in danger of constantly falling off, as this level. Now... for any of you that aren't too familiar with Super Nintendo, the thing that's happening right now is called Mode 7, where essentially it was a special chip inside the Super Nintendo that allows the backgrounds to swirl around in its own way. F-Zero, if you ever saw the game F-Zero.
Yeah, the entire game is Mode 7.
what about Star Fox?
That was
was
a special FX chip, if I believe.
Yeah.
Only later games had it, like Star Fox and X3. And there's a few others, but I can't think of them.
I know Star Fox. I know Mega Man X3. Do you know the interesting thing? I will have to try to record a video, like a short video of it later. We were playing a really glitched version of this game earlier, and it's very difficult to explain. You'll just have to see if we upload the video. But it was like every time you tried, it did Mode 7 stuff. It really, really graphically glitched, and I couldn't tell what the heck was going on. So. And, like, did you just notice, Trevor, how you literally just fall?
Yeah, maybe it wasn't, like, rendering.
It literally wasn't rendering, because what happened was, I was still trying to do it. And I fell straight down, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you can just fall straight down.
Whoa! This would have been the stage that...
This is what I was talking about. Oh, God, please don't die off of this. So, this is a mixture of Mode 7 and just...
My eyes are destroyed.
This is...
I'm actually blind.
The difficult nature of this for me is the slowdown that you have to deal with when, like, the skeletons come out and everything.
You know? Oh! Rip ears. Sorry. Now that I think about it, comparing this game to the Genesis one, if it controlled like this game, I'd probably like Bloodlines better in every single way. But just because you don't do Belmont and he's like less versatile than this one.
I do really. There's two. I don't know if you guys have ever played Castlevania Bloodlines. I highly suggest it. If you ever see that CIB, cartridge alone is not too expensive. Box copies get kind of up there, but it's a great game. It's a great Castlevania game, and there's two things going against it. Which one of them being you literally don't have a Belmont that can do this kind of stuff with the whip. Like it's just normal. It's a left and right.
It's a Morris.
Yeah, it's I believe it's either John or Jack Morris, and they literally took it from Dracula, where like the original vampire killer or something like that is named Morris, like John Morris, Jack Morris, something along those lines.
I want to say it's Jack because you played John.
Yeah, I think the story.
And then it's Jack.
The story is that the Belmonts like get rid of Dracula, but at a time they have to go into hiding and like let the it's like. Let the bloodline become strong again because they can't kill Dracula again until like the millennium, like new millennium or something like that. So they confided the vampire killer to the Morris family, which it works for them, but it like slowly kills the Morris family. It's actually pretty cool, like mythology. I just don't exactly know what it is.
I guess back to Bloodlines. Yeah, you don't get as cool moving around as this, It's just another thing going against it, and this is such a minor complaint, and I know it's not a real complaint, is it is a lot shorter than this. It is like 7 levels long, and granted, I would rather play a 7-level game that is fantastic over, you know, over a...
Moonwalk.
Yeah, I'm gonna try Moonwalk, right?
You don't know how to do it?
No, it's so easy.
Son.
All you have to do is push up. You go up, and then you push the opposite direction, and then up.
There. How cool am I?
You could do it without jumping either.
A lot of times when you know people talk to Trevor and me, and obviously Finch too, about games all the time, and one of the major, like, there's a lot of legitimate complaints about games from, you know, any time that they've ever been out. But oh my god, why am I such a retard? Oh my god, please.
No.
What?
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh.
Thank you. Ross literally did it for me.
Wow.
I feel pretty.
This game, I never noticed it, but this game's like, Mode 7 exists.
I honestly feel pretty good that at least on, like, proof, one time I at least got through the first 4 levels without dying. I at least, you know, because I don't think people believe me sometimes when I'm like, oh, I just got to the final boss and I didn't die. Now this is an interesting level because they essentially have this set up in 3 different parts. There's stages 1 through 4, which if you guys can see, I'm on 5. There's stages 1 through 4, which you're pretty much getting to the castle. And then there's stages 5 through, like, I don't know, 9, something like that, where you're in the castle. And then there's stages A and B, which are like you're done with the castle, you're going through Dracula. So this is stage 5, and there's no boss in this level. It's not very long, and you're literally just, like, walking into the castle. It's kind of like an intermission.
Yeah, bringing that up, that's actually one thing I don't like about the newer Metroidvania games. Because the old Castlevania games only, like, Dracula's castle only was, like, half the game, or maybe even, like, a third of the game. But those newer games, like, the castle was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, you got to it, like, without you playing, and then you're there forever. Granted, the castles are a lot bigger, but it just took something out of it that I thought was cool.
The castles don't seem as threatening because you know you're not
like you don't see the battle towards the castle.
Didn't Portrait of Ruin have some stuff that wasn't in the castle? Could
yes.
you go into the portraits?
Yeah. It's like still technically in the castle, but you go into like separate areas.
Now this is something that I swear only nerds like me would know. But starting on this level, enemies are legitimately harder. And I guess it's because when you get closer to Dracula, his minions have stronger powers. But like skeletons that used to take, even normal skeletons that used to take 1 hit, now take 2. Which actually, if you're going to be like actually trying in the game pretty hard, it's something to think about, especially if you have to make some jumps. And boy, there's some jumps.
I like that part especially. No music whatsoever.
It's really cool. And it literally shows you now you're inside the castle, you're going through all this different stuff. This level's really cool.
The music for this stage is probably among my favorites.
I guess another thing I really like about this game, and all old school Castlevanias did it, is the general like atmosphere of it. Like really feels let me give up that ×3, sure. It generally makes you feel like you're in Dracula's castle, like it's 1700s in Transylvania. Please.
Lord of the Shadow kind of lost some of that. Because, I guess, spoiler.
Yeah, I want to play it, but I know all the spoilers.
Yeah, so you know, Gabriel becomes Dracula, so there isn't that grandiose major castle that you have to go face, which kind of sucks.
Oh no! What? No!
Did you count that?
I guess we. I don't know.
Hold on. Alright. How about this? If I literally go the rest of the game and don't die,
alright, then it's a no
then it's a no death. That's not gonna happen.
Okay. But talking about Lords of Shadow, I got to the point where they completely copied Shadows of the Colossus, then I stopped playing because I thought the game was done.
There's only 2 of those fights. And the Ice Titan isn't that bad of a fight. The
I
other
guess it
one,
was just a concept. It was already a God of War clone, and then
Yeah.
it stole something else. I was just like, why Kojima? Why did you do this?
see, I like Lords of Shadow from what it did take because it made it better. Like I love God of War.
Stop. All right, I'm going to be completely fair to that. It walks you to the edge automatically, which I don't know why I never noticed that before.
You died.
I died. There's no excuse, but still. Hey guys, Mode 7 exists. Castlevania. This is called Super Mode 7-vania.
Who would keep a room like this in their castle anyway? This just seems like a giant pain in the ass.
It certainly is hard to get from point A to point B.
Also, why do they have those little bad things? Like, who else can actually do that except for which moment is this? Richard again?
No, this is
What?
Did anyone else see
Yeah,
that?
I just watched the replay.
Yeah, you can't say that was died though, because that was a guy.
Man, my freaking life. This is actually,
Oh no, this is Siren again.
for all intents and purposes, this is supposed to be a remake or a reshoot of the first one. So if you look at any sort of, oh god, we're beginning to get into awful levels. If you begin to look at official Castlevania timelines, you'll notice that this is.
I'm done on that.
At least it's not as stupid as battling Dracula's castle inside of an eclipse. Because that is a thing. That's Dawn of Sorrow. It's like in 2029 or something like that, and it was like on the day that there's a solar eclipse, and then that's like the day that Dracula appears.
I wonder if you'll click through the.
And you literally go
platform again.
I'm gonna be so sad. I literally clipped through that.
Is this one?
Yep.
No, it was the next one. This is actually a pretty long thing you got going on here, Dracula.
Oh.
Okay.
No, but this is the one. I swear that.
Maybe
one
it's just
time. And that one counts.
It's just this cartridge. It's just that platform on this cartridge. That doesn't.
Sorry for your ears, guys.
No. What was the first rule you told me when we started? Don't yell.
Sorry.
And we do it. We're for anyone who actually, we thank you guys for watching and listening.
Whoa! What?
What's that?
I don't know.
Hey, David. What is happening? What is going on? Can I fight
Dude,
you?
just leave. I feel as if this is gonna curse your house.
What is this thing? Is it gonna hurt me? I need to know.
You're gonna insta death. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, you killed the dog. No, Spenser, you asshole!
Oh my god!
You killed his dog!
Dude, that's
You should feel bad.
Oh my god!
You killed his dog!
I've never seen this
Playing with his dog in the basement!
Okay. Alright, this run is amazing just because of that. There is